In this video today, we'll explore why there is so much misery in our lives and what we can do to stop it. Why we can feel so insignificant when actually we are the most magnificent beings in the universe. And we'll remember why we never need to depend on any source outside of us for love, guidance, care, and redemption. Hello. I'm Marvin Glenn, the Singing Sage. I'm a regular guy who has struggled with my own inner demons of hatred, anger, resentment, shame, perversions, spiritual darkness, and with always feeling not good enough. Now, after more than 80 years on this wonderful planet, I'm here sharing my songs with you, along with some of my own personal techniques and wisdom I use to live my life. I invite you to join me with an open mind while you listen with your heart. I know you can benefit in your life from hearing my words and songs. Just by looking around now at our planet, I think it's obvious to everybody that it's time for us to start asking ourselves these challenging questions. Why are so many people miserable and desperate? Are our choices really ours, or are we being controlled by lies and crippling beliefs? Why do we feel so helpless while watching the dramas on Earth? What is it that we don't know about life that could make everything better? I'm probably a lot like you. I have started asking myself these questions, started to question my beliefs and what I think I know. It seems I know so little, so very little about what's happening around me and why. It's all so confusing and even scary, frankly. AI can fool us, so easily in so many ways, like showing someone in a video saying something they never said, like rewriting our history. How would we ever know? Like telling us lies about ourselves that make us feel helpless and worthless. Well, you get the picture. I think we're being forced to look at ourselves and accept that what we think we know and what's actually true are two different things. I can almost feel the actual ground shaking under me. How about you? Corporations, institutions, religions, governments, philosophies, sciences, even our own thoughts and feelings are being shaken and shown up for the shifting sand they really and truly are. You know why they're like this? Because we made them all up, out of our imaginations. We have been tricking ourselves for a long, long time. I made another video that explains why we do that to ourselves, and I'll refer you to it later in this video. So, where does all this leave us, you and me? It looks like it leaves us here looking at each other and wondering where we go from here, wondering how we navigate this nightmare around us and within us, wondering how we can survive and even thrive from now on. The energies and forces moving through us and our world now are unstoppable because it's time. It's time for you and me to wake up and grow up. Time to abandon our belief systems that don't work. Time to take full responsibility for our personal circumstances and our creations. And it's time to remember who and what we really are. Time to actually start living from our hearts, where our innate wisdom and power abide. In other words, it's time for us to take back our power. I know I've finally arrived at this time in my life when I am able to admit that my programmed beliefs and thoughts are simply not working. I've been very unhappy and lost because I had no idea where I was going with my life. I was raised as a fundamental Christian and was packed with those teachings about life and about myself that left me feeling scared and worthless Because of those teachings, I felt like I was filthy inside and never good enough as a person, and at the same time that I was better than any other people because I had accepted the so-called real truth about life. In other words, I was a religious schizophrenic. My beliefs turned out to be a very shifty foundation for me to base my life on. If you're one of the lucky few who haven't been brainwashed by some religious dogma, congratulations. You have much less bullshit to unload. However, you're not completely off the hook, because so much energy from so many duped people has been put into getting us to think and act the way we do, that climbing out of this deep mud puddle will demand two things from us all. First, we have to acknowledge that our mistaken choices aren't working. Next, we have to drop our stubbornness and be willing to accept new information that actually restores our personal powers of discernment so we can thrive, not just survive. And next, probably not last, we've got to grow up emotionally and mentally by accepting full responsibility for our choices up to this point, and then by undoing them as best we can. To say it another way, we've got to stop blaming others for our messes. I'm here to tell you and me that we both can do this. We can because we just have to. We are the power to fix everything. We are as we are because of the information that we have been given about ourselves and because of the information we haven't been allowed to know. That information, of course, has always been available and still is. So if you are ready, and I know you are because your soul brought you here today, I will share with you what I remember about us and about the bigger picture of reality on Earth. To be able to listen to my words, you will probably want to drop your shield of skepticism for the next few minutes and just be here and let your heart hear my words. Your mind only knows what it knows, so it's very limited. The easiest way to hear me is to listen with and through your heart, your inner essence. Go by how you feel there and just let your mind babble on as usual. It's so unimportant. Ready? Here we go. We, you and I, are not actually human. We are infinitely more. We are here now in these bodies we call human, of course, but we ourselves are not these bodies. Neither are we the thoughts rolling through our brains right now. Our bodies are temporary things we made. That's right, we made them. And that statement might give you a hint as to where we're going today. If you're like me all your life, you've been more or less lost. Lost mentally and emotionally, and of course spiritually. We've been accepting most of what we see around us and what we feel emotionally as real, and as far as it goes, it is real. Things have to be real for us to be able to create our experiences and adventures, our dramas and comedies, our offspring, and our lives. So it's been very easy for certain unseen energies and entities to confuse and manipulate us for their own agendas by using the things we believe are real to make us miserable most of the time. For many thousands of years, those unseen energies and entities I mentioned have had their ways with us because we never knew they existed. We believed if we can't feel it, see it, or touch it, then it's not there, right? Well, let me tell you my true story. When I was 25, life took me into another reality where I was rudely introduced to the energies of those negative unseen beings. The first time I felt one of them, I was walking down a hallway in the house and without any warning, it felt like I was slammed by a rubber hammer on each of my temples. Wham! I ended up on the floor in pain. After that, I never doubted their existence again, and from then on, I could feel their painful effects on my physical body whenever I was supposed to feel them. The whole story of these experiences I'll probably share in another video someday, but for now, let's continue our present exploration of deeper things. The story I just told you is actually about the beginnings of my own awakening. Since then, I've been able to accept and remember much that I've known all along, but didn't realize it because I had, probably like you, completely accepted my world as if it is all that exists. I accepted my government, our educations, our social philosophies, and most fully our Christian religion. Probably the most powerful of them all, at least for me, was my religion. Those teachings are the most nefarious programs that can be put into a person's mind. Not because the stories may not be true, but because they have been twisted by men in ways that have been aimed at making us as fearful, obedient, and as insignificant as possible for their own reasons of control and the perversion of life on earth. Why would they do that? Because if a person can be stripped of all their feelings of significance and power, and then be filled with guilt, shame, fear, worthlessness, insignificance, and most crippling of all, a dependence on a so-called God out there somewhere for everything good in life, well, they can absolutely have their way with us. So what did happen to us when we were devastated that way? We lost our inner compass, our self-confidence, and our self-love. We ended up full of guilt and self-condemnation. You get the picture. A total human disaster. So much of us, most of us actually, ended up going outside of our powerful selves for help, to find some kind, any kind of rudder for our ship. We eagerly became dependent on a so-called God out there for everything good in life. As you probably already know, the three pillars of our society are the government, the church, and the banks. Out of these three, the most destructive in the human experience, in my opinion, is the church. The next part of this video will dramatically confront our religious belief systems. These words are powerful. Feel them. The being we call God is a real being. This being claims to be the creator of everything that has been, is now, and will ever be in the future. This God being demands that we believe him when he makes those claims. He also demands our obedience and worship. He claims to be love. He claims to be all-powerful and all-knowing. Here's the truth we all someday will acknowledge and accept about this God. He is a counterfeit of the real thing. He is powerful, but not all-powerful. He is a creator, but not the creator. He is actually an egomaniacal psychopath who hates humanity and all of life with a vengeance. The reasons I can say this and the full story of this God, I will refer you to later in this video. There's a lot more to know about this God, but for now, just know that he and his minions are the parasites that have been tormenting humanity for eons of time. By being against life, they have cut themselves off from the true source of all that is. So they've just got to depend completely on us and many others in our galaxy now for their life force. Because of who we are and the powerful roles we're playing in this universe, we are their most potent source of life energy. A tiny human baby on Earth has access to more life force in its little finger than all of the parasites put together. This truth will be revealed as our divine plan continues to evolve. How do they get us to give our life energies to them? Probably the biggest hit they get from us is when we worship them. Worship is their heroin. Our emotions, our energy and motion are the main life source for them. Why has this God set up so many money and religious systems that cause us such misery? If not to suck the energies of humanity when we're desperate, scared, and angry? Here are some more interesting questions. Who do you believe is behind the pandemics lately? I mean, hidden behind. Someone who loves us or someone who wants us to suffer? Who do you think is the cause of all the wars on the planet? Someone who wants us to thrive or someone who just got to have the energies we give out when we're killing each other? This so-called God being is the source of all of humanity's suffering for the past 6,000 years. He, or it, is the reason for all of our misery. Please understand something here. I'm not blaming or judging any of these beings or institutions for the problems in my life or on this planet. These are simply facts. There is no one to blame and no one to forgive. Why? Because, believe it or not, before you and I incarnated here, we agreed to be subject to them all. For that amazing story, I will refer you to another of my videos later. By the way, there is a place you can go to remember more of the details of this grand universal story. It's the website of my mentor, the great George Kavassilas. His book, Our Universal Journey, is his presentation of the hidden truths that are the foundations of our matrix reality. I've put the links in the description down below. So far, I've been exposing the religious side of our reality. Obviously, billions of people are still caught in that trap. They don't know it's a prison, of course, but it's still a dungeon from the Dark Ages. This is interesting. Here's the original Latin meaning of the word religion. Re means again, and ligere means to bind. So religion means to bind again, to be bound in this case by lies. So how do we get out of this mess? It's easy and fun, just walk away. What will happen to us then? Well, for me it was the most liberating time of my life. My fears of hell and punishment disappeared because I remembered who and what I really am. I couldn't be fooled anymore. I felt powerful for the first time in my life, and free. I was making decisions based on my trust of life for the first time because I knew if I made a mistake, I could always correct it and do that without being scared I would be punished for being wrong. Life continued bringing me new information that woke me up even more, and I began living in ways that helped me to love myself and love who I am. And because I stopped judging myself, I began watching other people without judging them either. So now I can look at people and feel how close I really am to them. Here's something else that surprised me. I have begun feeling deeply connected to Mother Nature. Now I understand how people can hug a tree, you know? It's like hugging your pet or your partner. It's all about connecting, which is exactly what love is. Connection. Unity. Thank you for staying with me this far. I sincerely hope my words have shaken your old, shifty foundations to their cores. Just a few more comments to wind up this video. Because of our religious teachings, most of us have lost our identity. So here's a reminder for us all. We are all unique, one-of-a-kind, individualized expressions of the one and only true source. In fact, we are the source, the all that is. That is who we all are. And fully accepting that can make our lives so much more fun. The good news is there is a way out of our dark jungle. We are the light we need, always have been. We don't need anyone outside of ourselves to clean up this whole planned drama, or comedy if you prefer. As we change ourselves from the inside out, the whole earth will automatically become the paradise we all are inside. So, I recommend we all grab hold of our fears and confusion and crippling beliefs and throw them all away. Life, authentic life, is and always has been ours for the living on our own terms. We can love and appreciate us all because we remember now that life loves and appreciates us more than we can ever begin to imagine. If you want to remember why we would trick ourselves about this reality, you can go to this video here. Have fun with that one. Thank you for spending some time with me today and for listening with your heart. The powerfully inspiring song for today is Humanity, Get Off Your Knees.
Lost generations roaming the earth, lost in the matrix, feeling no worth. Infinite beings, prisoners all, lost in illusions, feeling so small. Living as victims day after day, giving and giving our power away. So many lifetimes trembling in fright. Now we remember we are the light. Humanity, get off your knees. There is no God we need to please. We are the power, we are the truth. Humanity, get off your knees. Get off your knees, it's not our place to beg and plead. Fear not your power, embrace it all. Humanity, get off your knees. Wolves in sheep clothing, parasites mean, making us trust in fake gods unseen. Nothing around us is as it seems. We are the power to end this bad dream. So much deception leading us on. Deep in our hearts we know something's wrong. Following teachings leading to grief. Only way out is release belief. Slaves ever knowing we are not free, thinking we're being all we can be. Following shepherds, sheep till the end, bowing to masters time and again. Mighty creators, blinded and lost, we are reclaiming our sovereignty lost. Soaring with eagles, children no more, walking as lions, now here is war. Humanity, get off your knees. There is no God we need to please. We are the power, we are the truth.